Hi everyone, and welcome to this 30-minute Yin Yoga practice. If it's your first time here, my name is Katie. Welcome. Today we're going to be focusing on opening up the hips. So we'll do some nice deep and juicy hip opening Yin Yoga poses. Because this is Yin Yoga, that means that we'll be holding the poses for about 2 or 3 minutes each today. You might need a yoga block or a cushion if you have something like that handy nearby. If not, don't worry, I can show you some alternative ways that we can still access these poses without props. So if you are ready to begin, we'll begin today in butterfly pose. So you're coming to sit on your mat, and here's where you can sit on that cushion or yoga block to make things a little bit easier for you. And then you're bringing the soles of your feet together. Now, if you want to make this stretch less intense, you can slide your feet away from you more. If you would like to go a little bit deeper, you can mindfully bring your feet closer to your pelvis. Now, your hands might come to hold your feet, or they can just come to rest wherever feels natural. We have 2 options here for butterfly pose. We can stay with the back relatively straight, nice and long, or we can come into a folded butterfly here by mindfully folding forward and slowly bringing the nose towards the feet. Now, wherever you are is completely fine. We just have to remember that in Yin Yoga, we only go to 80% of our capacity. So that means no forcing the knees down, no forcing the nose towards the feet. Just do whatever feels like 80% for you. The second principle of Yin Yoga is that we commit to stillness. So try to find something that will be sustainable for you to hold for about the next 3 minutes here in butterfly pose. The third and final principle then is that we remain active within our Yin Yoga pose. So the body isn't completely relaxed and just dumped into the pose. We're still supporting ourselves a little bit here. So you might close your eyes or relax your gaze. Find that stillness and just observe what is happening here. Starting to bring a little bit of awareness into your breath. If your mind is finding it hard to commit to stillness, try to anchor your mind onto your breath. Let's take one more big breath in here. Long exhale. In your own time, you can start to gently remove yourself from the pose, signaling to the hips that it's time to move again. And whenever you're ready, you can bring your knees back together. Hands can be used here to help. Let out a big ah if you need to. And then we're going to lean back on our hands and just do some windshield wipers. So have your feet about mat width distance apart. Exhale to drop both knees to one side. Inhale to pick them up, and exhale to drop them to the other side. And let's do that a few more times, moving nice and slowly with your breath. Releasing any tension that we might have accumulated there with butterfly pose. You can always pause with your knees dropped if that feels nice. And now we'll make our way into our next Yin Yoga pose, which is dragon pose. So to begin, you can come to all fours. And then we're going to bring our right foot to the outside of the right hand. You can always use your hands to help get it up there, that's okay. Have your right toes pointing away from you here. Spread your fingers nice and wide so your hands become a nice wide foundation for your body. Your back knee will determine how deep you go here, so you can always bring it closer to you or further away depending on how intense you want this stretch to be. Back toes can stay tucked to support that back knee, or the top of the foot can come to the mat, whatever feels best for you. Now, if this pose feels too deep for you, and if you do have yoga blocks, you can always rest your hands onto your yoga blocks, or you can just bring this right foot back into the middle of your hands to create a low lunge. We'll be here for about 2 minutes in total. So let's figure out what 80% of our capacity is. If you have gone over 80%, it's okay to peel it back here. Find that position which will allow you to commit to stillness. And maintain a little bit of activity within your body here. So don't just collapse into the pose. Tap into that energy that's traveling within you and let that energy keep you active. One more big breath in. Long breath out. From here we'll come straight into our next pose, which is Swan Pose. So to do that, you can slowly walk this right foot all the way over to the left side of your mat. And then bring that right knee onto the mat in front of you. Now there's no right or wrong here, whatever works for you. Within our hips and our knees, we're all so different, so everybody's swan pose will look different. Take some time to figure out what works for you here. If needed, you can always put a cushion or yoga block in underneath this right hip for a little bit more support. Again, your back knee will determine how deep you go into this stretch, so you can adjust it if you need to. And now if it feels comfortable to do so, you can come down onto your forearms, maybe resting your head onto your hands or onto the mat. And now we have arrived in Sleeping Swan, where we'll stay for the next 2 minutes. Checking in that we're not over 80% capacity. Finding our stillness and keeping a little bit of activity within our body. Observing how your breath feels so different within your body here, but still aiming to send it deep into your hips. find those sensations which will keep your mind anchored into your body. It's time for us to slowly bring ourselves back up. So take your time pushing yourself away from the floor. And then you can come to sit on this right hip. We're going to bring both of our legs out in front of us. And just take a moment here to shake them off. Rotating through your ankles, spreading your toes, doing whatever you need to do. We're going to make our way into our next pose now, which is shoelace pose. So we have two options here. You can come into a half shoelace just by bringing your left foot over to the right hip. So the knees are relatively stacked on top of each other. Now you can just stay here, or if you do want to go a little bit deeper, you can also bend this right knee. So now your right foot is beside your left hip. Wherever you are is okay. Remember, only 80% capacity. When you're there, then you can just wiggle around so you can find both of your seat bones pressed into the mat. And if you do need a little bit of extra support here, again, you can sit up on a cushion, blanket, yoga block, whatever you have to act as a little seat here will always help. Hands again might come to hold the feet, or they can just rest wherever feels comfortable. Similar to butterfly pose here, we're either sitting nice and tall, or you can slowly fold forward so your nose comes towards your knees. And if you are in that fold, your hands might come in front of you. Just choosing whatever is going to be sustainable for you to hold for 2 minutes, something in which you can stay still in. Find your breath. Attach your awareness to your breathing, to the sensations within your body. Take one more big breath in. Slowly exhale. And now let's release the pose very slowly. However you do that is okay. We're just going to do those windshield wipers again. 3 poses here to release. We did dragon, swan, and shoelace. Let's just notice the effect those poses have had on your hips. See what's different within your body, within your mind. Now it's time for us to repeat that sequence on the opposite side. So let's make our way back onto all fours. Then left foot either comes to the outside of the left hand or it can come in between the hands. Back knee finds the right position for it. Left toes are pointing away from you. Fingers are spread wide to create that nice foundation. And now let's find our dragon pose and settle into it for the next 2 minutes. It's completely normal for your mind to get frustrated or distracted here in all of these poses. And when that happens, just know that it's okay. Forgive yourself and then come back to your breath, back to your body as best you can. It's time for us to slowly transition into Swan Pose, bringing that left foot over to the right, finding the appropriate swan for your body. Take your time to wiggle and adjust. And when you're ready, you can bring your forearms down to the mat. Maybe forehead will lower as well. Sitting with your sleeping swan now for the next 2 minutes. %80 capacity, stillness, activity. Just a few more breaths here. When you're ready, you can start to slowly bring yourself back up. Transitioning onto the left hip and then bringing both legs out in front. Shaking them out or rotating your ankles, doing whatever you need here. Now we'll come back into shoelace. This time you're bringing your right foot to the outside of your left hip first, either staying here in half shoelace or bending this left knee as well. Remember, you can sit up on something if you need to. Make sure we have our seat bones pressing into the mat or our blocker cushion. Choosing either your upright position or maybe folding forward to go a little bit deeper. Observing how your body feels, observing your breath. If your body or mind has started to stir, just take a moment to settle everything again. Take a few more full breaths. And when you're ready to, you can start to slowly unravel. A big ah again here if you need to. Stretching out your legs and doing whatever you feel you need in this moment. You can also do some windshield wipers. And when you're ready, you can come down to lie on your back, slowly rolling onto the mat. When you're there, you can bring your knees towards your chest, giving yourself a hug here, releasing and squeezing out any tension from your hips. Now we'll come into our final Yin Yoga pose, which is Happy Baby pose. So your knees come towards your chest. You can take them wider apart and then bring your hands in between your knees. reach your hands for the outside or the inside of your feet and have the soles of your feet parallel to the ceiling. Again, wiggle and fidget and see whatever you need to do here. If full happy baby is too much here, you can just do half happy baby by only holding one foot at a time. And I'll let you know when we're halfway through so you can switch to the other foot. We'll be here for 3 minutes in total. So find your 80%. Find some stillness. Maintain a little bit of activity by pushing your feet towards the ceiling, but at the same time your arms are gently pulling them back towards the floor. Big breaths into the belly. We're halfway through now. You can switch to the other foot if you need to. Just a few more deep breaths now, floating in this stillness. And when you're ready, you can bring those feet back to the ground, nice and slowly. You might just lay here with your knees resting against each other, feet mat width distance apart. You might feel more inclined to do some windshield wipers or bring your knees towards your chest, hugging yourself again. Just do whatever your body is calling for. We'll end this Yin Yoga practice with 2 minutes of corpse pose. So when you're ready, you can stretch both legs long, if that feels good for you. If not, you can keep your knees bent. Feet and hands can come as wide apart as they need to. Chin is tucked slightly to the chest. Allowing your body to soak up all the benefits of the poses that you've done and allowing it to completely relax and recover. Stay here now for the next few moments and I'll let you know when it's time to come back. You're welcome to stay here for longer if you can, but if you are ready to come back, you can start to make small movements. In your own time, make your way back up into a seat on your mat. And when you're there, you might just soften your gaze or close your eyes. We'll take one more full breath in together. And as you exhale, you can slowly bring yourself back. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you found it beneficial. If you would like to thank me, you can simply leave this video a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. That really helps to support me in making these videos. And I have lots more yin yoga videos, lots more videos focusing on the hips or on other body areas as well. So I'll leave some links below if you'd like to check out some other videos. But until the next practice, take care and I'll see you soon.